Hello, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into my videos. I have missed sitting behind this camera. So I haven't made videos in the beginning of this week. I had all of these plans that I was going to talk about so many different things. I had a list of things that I wanted to talk about. And unfortunately, um, things didn't go my way. I've had a couple of bad days. The last week and a half has been really, really, really bad for me. Just because of, what we deal with family stuff, work stuff, men, all of it just comes at you in one go. It's almost as though when one problem comes to the party, it sends a notification to all the other problems to come join in. So I've been dealing with a lot. And it was funny, I was having a really, really bad day, and I was thinking as everything was happening, how do I deal with bad days? How do I take care of myself in these moments where I feel at my worst? I don't know if I'm going to articulate this message the right way, but I'm going to try. As trans women, or as people of trans experience, even people within the LGBT, just all of us within the alphabet community, we are born into a society that essentially does not want us to be here. We are told as children to just be ourselves, but we are taught that who we are is somehow wrong, is somehow dirty. So we grow up with a lot of self-hatred and a lot of shame. So just from the jump, the minute they dropped you off on this planet, you had to deal with a lot of internalized hatred, with a lot of trauma and a lot of things that really you shouldn't have never dealt with. And when we do decide to transition, or when we do decide to come out of the closet, we are received with a lot of pushback. The majority of us go through more than our fair share of trauma. For myself, when I began my transition, I knew and I understood that I was going to have difficulties. I knew and I understood that I was going to have challenges. I remember I had nightmares about what I thought my transition would be. I had nightmares of what I thought my transition would be. I was so scared in the beginning, and my nightmares came true. A lot of my nightmares came true. I had to deal with a lot of discrimination from school, from family, from work. There was just a lot of pushback. And when all of this happened, when all of this happens in your transition, your body builds up trauma cells. A lot of the experiences that we go through are so traumatic. They're so traumatic that they basically create bitterness in our souls. They create bitterness, they create resentment, and they create anger. So you would go through one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. And for me, by the time I reached the female threshold, I was so broken down as a person. I was already so broken down because of everything that had happened. And in many ways, I was really, really bitter. Now, I've seen how, whoop, let's pretend that didn't happen, but I've seen how so many trans women will go through all of these difficulties, and many times they don't seem to have an outlet. They don't seem to have anyone that they can talk to, or they don't seem to have a way to deal with the negativity in a healthy or a positive way. So we often fall into escapism. Now, escapism can take many forms. whether it's overeating, whether it is drinking yourself into a stupor, whether it is having a lot of wild and random sex or taking drugs. Escapism can take any form, and we engage in escapism because we are so hurt and we're looking for anything that is going to make the pain go away, anything that is going to make you feel good, even if it's just for a moment. Even if it's just for a moment. And the problem is, we go into escapism or we go into these activities with a broken spirit, hoping that the drugs are going to make us feel better, hoping that the sex is going to heal us, hoping that the overeating is going to fill some void inside of us. And it never does. It never does. It never does. You sit with that bitterness. You sit with that anger. I spoke to a friend of mine and she was having a really bad day. She was going through a lot of emotional things and she ended up not going to work and calling in sick. Now her boss caught on that no, she wasn't really sick and was threatening her over the phone. And as we were talking, me and this friend, she's trans by the way, as we were talking, she said to me, I'll never forget this. She looked into my eyes and she said, it would just be better if I were dead. And I thought it was interesting that on the surface level, it seemed as though she wanted to kill herself because she had a bad day, because her boss was threatening her. But what you need to understand is that's just the surface level. If you scratch beneath the surface, you will see a long history of pain, of trauma, of things not going her way, of the world continually pushing her down and breaking her down. That one more problem, however insignificant or however small that problem might seem to you or me, that one problem is the one thing that will send this girl over the edge. Now, I'm not saying that she was right or she was wrong. I'm just trying to paint a picture that for us as trans women, for us as people within the LGBT community, sometimes you get to a point where you are literally on your last leg. And it just takes one more thing to send you over the edge. Now, what I want to say, and this has always been my message, and this is the message that I really, really hope to send. If I send any message from my videos, is this one message. Learn how to take care of yourself in the middle of the storm. Transitioning is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. The beginning is a nightmare. But guess what? You're going to wake up, sweetheart. You're going to wake up from that nightmare. And the new life that you are moving towards is far better than anything that you left behind. I know that there's this buffering period that we go through, and that buffering period really makes or breaks us. We become embittered, we become broken, we become hurt. But I promise you, you get to a point where you pass through it. But in that moment, while you're still in the fire, while all of the trauma is burning you, while all of these DL men are doing the most, while all of these girls are out here being transphobic, while these employers are doing the absolute most, ask yourself, how do I take care of myself? How do I help heal this pain? What do I do? Because my hope is, I remember saying to God once that I'm going through the fire right now, and I hope that this fire is going to burn down the shackles that held me to my old life. And I really, really hope and pray that as I come out of this fire, I come out better, refined, kinder, more compassionate, and wiser than I was before I entered the fire. You're on the right track, sweetheart. I know that it hurts right now. I know that every day, for me, it was to the point where sometimes it would take me an hour and a half just to get out of bed because my body was exhausted from the pain. But you know what? I got up every day and I looked at myself in the mirror and I told myself how much I loved myself. I examined all of the things that happened in my life, and I tried to show myself compassion, kindness, empathy in every single moment. I learned how to be my own best friend, even when everybody else had turned their backs on me. And that's what I want you to take away from this. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have terrible days. The world is going to fall apart in front of you. People are going to hate you. You need to make sure that you don't hate yourself. You need to make sure that as the world falls apart, you don't fall apart with it. You need to learn how to be kind to yourself in these moments. You need to learn how to take care of yourself in healthy ways. And you need to hold on to the vision and the dream that you had when you began this transition. You had a dream in the beginning. What was it? Who is the man or the woman that you wanted to be? When you began this transition and you had a vision of the type of woman or the type of man that you wanted to be, what did that person look like? What kind of life did they have? Tap into that, because that is going to be your driving force. It doesn't matter how expensive the surgeries are. It doesn't matter how far along in transition you are. Just hold on to that vision. And I promise you, that vision is going to carry you through. You loving yourself is going to carry you through. You being kind to yourself is going to carry you through. And just remember, we're here, sweetheart. We love you. I love you. I love you. Listen to me when I say this, sweetheart. I love you. I really, really do. And I can't wait to see you on the other side. It's going to be your turn soon. Love you, babe. All right, bye. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.